Welcome to Big Thursday Week 5 edition. We've gone through 2 so far, and last week I finally got the better of Jesse in our picks. I went 10-5 compared to Jesse, who went 9-6. So, Jesse, I'm sorry, but I needed to get a win. But you are still in the lead by 1 game. So we've got an exciting week ahead. Crazy stuff going on with COVID protocols, but hopefully we get week 5 going and get the rest of the season underway. It's going to be very tough. Hopefully it happens. I'm Matthew Levy, and of course, here is Jesse Schmalholz. We'll break it down after this.
This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
Okay, so this week we're going to switch up gears, and we're going to talk about some fantasy football advice, and we're going to go through some buy low and sell high players. Jesse formed the sell high list, so he'll give his thoughts first, and then I'll give you my buy low players. Here we go. Jesse, lead us off.
All right, so my first player is Joe Mixon, and yes, he had an insane week this last week. He blew up. He had the volume that everyone was looking for and has had in the past, but has turned it into a suitable fantasy day. But I'm looking to sell high on him. If you look at his upcoming games, he has the Ravens, Colts, Browns, Titans, and Steelers. 4 out of those 5 teams are top 10 run defenses. I don't want to be a part of that, but if you are looking to sell him, you have to get someone that has enough volume to compare with him. You don't want to trade to someone like Odell, who's my second candidate, that's kind of volatile in that department. Speaking of Odell, he is my second sell high candidate. One, because he can be up and down, and last game, he had a great game, but 2 of those were rushing touchdowns. Baker didn't have a great game. You can't rely on that way of him scoring, and I don't want to rely on Baker. So if Baker's not reliable, that means Odell is not reliable. And third is Mike Davis. And McCaffrey is coming back soon, but he's not coming back that soon. So you still have a week or 2 to sell high on Mike Davis, to have some teams to have meaningful weeks with him. But if you don't sell him in a week or 2, people are obviously going to see McCaffrey coming, and he's not going to have any value.
Joe Mixon is the most frustrating football player in fantasy ever. He's on my team. For the first 3 weeks, he was awful. He had maybe one good, 15-point game, and then he goes off for 35. But I actually agree with you, Jesse. I don't trust him, and he's playing 5 great defenses coming up. I mean, the Steelers held Barkley to negative yards. I mean, watching that game, Steelers are tough. Titans are tough. Browns played good against Zeke, so I don't see his upside. I totally agree with you. And then moving on to Odell, again, he's, as you said, very volatile. So that's a player where I'm taking advantage of, because Baker Mayfield, he played one of the worst defenses in Dallas. I don't know if that keeps up. And then finally, your last player, Mike Davis, I think that's pretty obvious with Christian McCaffrey coming back. So let's move on to my buy low players. We're going to start with Jonathan Taylor. We've expected more out of him. I was very high on him to start, and he kind of struggled through these past couple of weeks, but he's facing tough run defenses. The Chicago Bears are a very tough run defense, but he's the focal point of this offense. Phillip Rivers is going to struggle a bit. He is. He's going to throw some picks, and they got to run the football. I think it's only a matter of time. With Rivers on the helm, he'll get his touches, and he'll start to be that back because Marlon Mack is out, and he'll start to get Marlon Mack production, plus more because he's a more talented back. And then number 2, I got A.J. Brown. He's on my team right now, and I'm very high on him in the future. He's got some good matchups, and he was very good last year, and he was the number 1 player in this offense with a really good quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. He'll be back, and he'll bounce back. I like A.J. Brown. And another guy that's coming back off injury is Deebo Samuel. Jimmy G is coming back. Deebo Samuel is coming back. Yes, you have Kittle in that offense, but Kyle Shanahan, I trust him. He's in a very good offense. Give me Deebo Samuel as the third buy low player. Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel. Jesse, thoughts?
Yeah, I like most of them. For one, Jonathan Taylor, I agree with you. He's been having some tough matchups, and he can only go up from here. And he's getting the touches, he's getting the volume. It's gonna happen. The only worry is Nyheim Hines, but I don't see him stepping too much into the role that Jonathan Taylor has. Wouldn't worry too much about that. A.J. Brown, I have him on my fantasy team. I want him to be what everyone thought he could be last year and was in the second half of it. I'm just worried about Corey Davis and the way that offense is run overall. Obviously, they're a run-first team. I don't know. I think he might be a bit of a touchdown reliable guy and and Corey Davis is going to be the mid-range, getting the volume, PPR kind of guy that everyone could be waiting for and could actually benefit from A.J. Brown coming back so he's not matched up against the number one corner. So that's something I would worry about. And Deebo Samuel, I agree. I think Jimmy G is coming back, and Jimmy G is going to be excited to have Deebo when he comes back. I think that tandem could do a lot when they come back, and 49ers will get back on track like they should be.
You're talking about Corey Davis, the most frustrating football player. Everyone thought he was going to be good for 3 years. I mean, I don't know if he's going to sustain that. I think A.J. Brown's a more talented player. He's a taller player. He's a bigger target. Like Tannehill will love that. And yeah, I love Jonathan Taylor. I went to the Wisconsin-Michigan game last year, and he absolutely dominated my Michigan. So I love him, and I'm high on him. I think he's going to be great in Indy because they got a great offensive line. So now we'll be right back, and we'll review the Thursday night football game. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to break down the Bucs Bears Thursday night game. Tom Brady on the road to face Nick Foles, the Super Bowl matchup from a couple years ago. That should be fun. Jesse, take it away.
Yeah, I see. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. I think the Bears are going opposite ways, though. I feel like Bears are going down, and the Bucs are kind of forming into the team that people are hoping for. Tom Brady throwing 5 touchdowns. Do you think the Bucs could be a Super Bowl contending team?
With the way this defense is playing right now, they've been a top 10 defense this year. You've got 2 stud receivers, Godwin, Evans. You've got a good tight end. You got Gronkowski, and you got the GOAT, Tom Brady. Yes, I do think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. And you look in this NFC right now. You got the Seahawks. They have Russell Wilson, but they struggle on defense. You got the Packers. They have Aaron Rodgers. But, again, they struggle against run defenses. And I still have concern about those receivers because can Rodgers keep it up? I think it's a weaker NFC this year, and I think the Bucs, with the talent they have, yes, they didn't perform too well against the Saints, but you'll see as the season keeps going, this Bucs offense is getting better and better, and this defense is getting better and better. Arians and Brady are starting to click. They look great against a really good Charger defense. I like the Bucs to be a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, I said it. Bucs Super Bowl contender.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to go that far with it, but I do think they're trending in the right direction. I remember in the beginning of the year when they had all the hype around them, that was everyone's biggest complaint is that the NFC is so strong that it's going to be hard for them to get in with all of these high-power teams competing with them. But it does seem like a slightly weaker conference this year, so I do see where you're coming from, that they have a chance. I just don't trust Tom Brady.
Did you just say you don't trust Tom Brady?
Okay.
Have you been watching football as a Jet fan? Come on. Tom Brady. No.
If he gets to the playoffs, if he gets in that rhythm and gets on a run there, it's hard not to trust him. I'll agree with you on that. But
scored 38 points against the Chargers.
I don't think he can get there. He did just lose O.J. Howard, not that he was the reasoning of all this, but Mike Evans, he's helping him out a lot. I think his receivers are.
He didn't have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin wasn't even in the lineup, but he scored 38 points. You're telling me Tom Brady, you can't trust him? He had the worst weapons of all time last year. You saw what they thrown out last night with Damiere Byrd.
And he didn't look great.
And last year he didn't, but now this year he's got players, and I think Godwin, Evans. I don't know how you stop that. You can just throw it up to them.
Agreed.
It's Tom Brady. He's a GOAT. He's been there before, done that. I don't know how you can output him as a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying last year people didn't trust him because he didn't have good receivers. This year, I think the reasoning that people can trust him, like in your defense, is because he has good receivers. You can trust the people he's throwing to, not him himself.
So you don't trust the guy that's won how many Super Bowls? I mean, 6? Come on. 6 Super Bowl rings, and you can't trust him in the playoffs? Who else do you trust in the playoffs?
I didn't say I'm not trusting him in the playoffs.
Oh, you don't trust him?
In the playoffs. Yeah, it's Tom Brady. He's going to make something happen.
He scored 38 points?
We're only in week 5, right?
38 points without one of his top targets. 38. That's impressive.
He just lost too.
He lost. Oh, O.J. Howard is the difference. He's got Gronkowski and Cameron.
Oh,
Brate.
like Gronkowski has been doing anything. He's a blocking target. He said it himself. Moving on.
Okay. So let's move on to the Chicago Bears. This is a very interesting team, at least to me. I've had a hot take if you listen to my Instagram video this week. But with the Bears, what would you do about the QB situation if you're Ryan Pace as the general manager?
Long term, I don't think either of these guys are the answer. I really don't. But in terms of this season, we can hold it to this season since we're really just talking about a specific game here. You're going to roll with Nick Foles, but I think people were hoping better out of him after seeing a bad performance out of Mitch. You're like, all right, let's get a new guy in here. It'll be fresh throws for Allen Robinson and guys like that. But it's not really showing up to be much better than Mitch. And I don't know how much you expect out of Nick Foles, whatever. He won a Super Bowl with a different team. Now he's in a different environment. Now he still has the backup chip on his shoulder that he still had when he was in Philadelphia. So long term, neither of these guys are the answer. But right now, you got to roll with Nick Foles.
So my thought earlier in the week, which I wanted to bring it up today, if this didn't happen yesterday, but if Deshaun Watson, just hear me out here. Deshaun Watson not happy in Houston with the way that things are trending. They're 0-4. If O'Brien was still there, I don't know if it can happen now, but I just want to throw it out. If O'Brien was still there, he would have been unhappy. And maybe if Chicago can formulate a trade package, he would go to Chicago. What would you give up for Watson? Would you?
Who?
I mean, if he's unhappy in Houston, this is just theoretical. If he's unhappy in Houston and you're Chicago, what are you giving up for him? Because he would change the dynamic of this organization.
Yeah, you're giving up a lot. That would be your number one priority going into the offseason. My worry is that you're going to have a new GM stepping into Houston. Is that the first thing? Is he going to try to rip apart the team?
Well,
like that?
This is what I'm saying. Like,
right.
now
no,
you can't.
Hypothetical. It's very hypothetical. And if Bill O'Brien was there, I could see him doing that. I see where you're coming from, but I don't know. New GM, he's going to stay conservative from the beginning because they do have some pieces in place. I think they're just going to build around Deshaun Watson. They're not going to let him go. And if they do, it's going to be for a lot.
Okay. Or you get a guy. So now you got the Giants. So let's look at the Giants and Jets. This is my other hypothetical scenario. They're the two worst teams in football. One of them gets the top pick, and they want to get a Lawrence, a Fields, a Nance. They want to trade Jones or Darnold. Is that a better fit in Chicago?
Well, they could definitely get him for cheaper. And I was actually just reading something today that, like, if it did come down, Jets had the number 1 overall pick, it would be hard to pass on Lawrence. It's just
so if you're the Bears, do you go for Darnold? Do you trade for Darnold? I think that would be a no-brainer.
You could probably get Darnold for a 3rd-round pick.
That would be a no-brainer.
That much. That's what
I mean. If you're the Bears, that's a no-brainer.
100%. If Darnold is on the trade block and the Jets are looking to trade Darnold or Daniel Jones, I think they're in similar situations. Yeah. I think either way, if it's a 2nd-round pick, 3rd-round pick, Bears have to jump on that. Who knows? I mean, there's a good chance that one of the two are available if it keeps going this direction for New York.
Oh, yeah. And you look at why I'm asking this is the Bears are in a very tough position. You got Khalil Mack, contracts running out. They're paying him a lot. This defense is really good, but it's getting a little banged up, you know what I mean? Like a little tired. They keep carrying this team, and Allen Robinson might want to trade in the offseason. We don't know about that situation. He's a number 1 wideout. So if you're the Bears, we both agree that these two guys are not the answer. So I think it's time. I know you just did the Foles thing, but is it a Jones or Darnold that you're bringing in? I don't know. Or do you just hedge the future and be like, we need to get a rookie and get one of the 3 guys? Because right now these college quarterbacks are working. This is something that we've seen. Justin Herbert's working. Joe Burrow's working. So is that a move? It's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the future. So after this, we'll be right back with our picks for the week. Okay, so we're ready. Picks. Jesse, take it away.
All right, first game, Falcons-Panthers. Falcons are favored by 3. Who do you have?
Teddy Bridgewater, I've said it on my Twitter for the past couple of weeks, is looking like a franchise quarterback despite not having Christian McCaffrey. I don't trust the Falcons right now, and I think this might be the week if the Falcons lose that Dan Quinn's out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And on the Panthers side, I think they have a emerging new number one wide receiver in Robbie Anderson. And if they have Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore fighting for that spot, that's a problem that the Panthers would love to have, having two receivers of that caliber. I have the Panthers winning, just eking out a win against the Falcons 21-20.
And I have 30-27. Okay, Ravens, Bengals. Ravens favored by 13.5.
Yeah, once again, I think the Ravens are going to have another blowout here. I think it's going to be 30-14. Ravens have too much on their defensive line to fight against the Bengals offensive line. Joe Burrow has no chance.
I'm going to say something. Yes, I think the Ravens are going to win the game. Yes, they have more talented lines. They have all that. But Lamar Jackson is not looking good this year right now. And you can see the perception of this Ravens team, which I wanted to talk about quickly. 2 weeks ago, they were favored by 3.5 against the Chiefs. And now all of a sudden you're saying the media is starting to say Bills, Chiefs. Those are the top two. The Ravens are still there. It's going to be very interesting. Can Lamar Jackson regather that strength he had from last season? Because right now he doesn't look like that MVP candidate we saw last year. But I have the Ravens winning 27-17.
All right, next game, Houston versus Jacksonville. Houston's favored by 6.5.
New coach, new GM in Houston. Deshaun Watson versus G. Minshew. I think it's the crap game of the week. But I'm going to go with the better quarterback here. Deshaun Watson edges it out in the end. I think it's a very close game. I could definitely see Jacksonville winning, getting back on track. But I'm going to stick with Watson. 24-20 Houston.
Yeah, I had a hard time with this game because I do feel like Houston is lacking consistency, especially with just having their head coach and GM out the door. So who knows what you're going to see from them, but I agree. Going to take the better quarterback in this one. I have Houston winning 24-17.
Okay, here we go. We got the Chiefs versus Raiders. Chiefs are hosting. They're favored by 12.5 off the Monday night win.
Yep, I'm going to go with Chiefs in this one. Last week, I would have said a game like this would have been a little closer for the Raiders. I'm going to have the Chiefs winning 30-17. I think they have to use Josh Jacobs better. He's getting volume, but not the right type of volume. I think Chiefs still win big.
Yeah, I had a little bit. I think this game is going to be close for a half. I think Josh Jacobs can keep him in it, and especially if Henry Ruggs is back, I can give him speed over the top. But you see it every week. Patrick Mahomes at the end goes up by 2 touchdowns, and they win. Chiefs win 34-20.
All right, next. The Arizona Cardinals favored 7 over my New York Jets. Who do you have?
So I got the Cardinals in this one. Kyler Murray. I expect a bounce-back week against a tremendously bad defense in the New York Jets. Darnold will struggle a little bit against Isaiah Simmons and that front, Chandler Jones. Cards win 27-14.
Yep. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one too, 30-10. Who knows who's playing quarterback for the Jets? It's Joe Flacco. Might even be a bigger blowout for them. Cardinals are too much for them. That's all I can say.
Wait, Darnold's out?
Not looking good.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Jets. Stink. Okay, next. Take it away.
Next, Steelers are taking on the Eagles. Steelers are favored by 7.
Okay, so I like, even after the Philly win, I like the Steelers in this one, 24-14. Off a bye. Mike Tomlin off a bye. Very good. Good coaches always do well off byes. And the Eagles have my tissue box to throw to for Carson Wentz. So Steelers win 24-14.
Yeah, I think this is the blowout of the week. I think Steelers are going to absolutely blow out the Eagles. They're going in opposite directions. Plus, that's a great point that I wasn't thinking of the bye for the Steelers. That can only do anything. That can do nothing but help them. I have the Steelers winning 35-14.
Bills-Titans, there's no line here because we don't know the uncertainty with COVID. So hopefully this game plays. We're filming this on Tuesday. So we'll have, if you guys see this on Thursday, it might play, it might not. So we'll see. But we're going to pick the game anyway. Jesse, pick the game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think Derrick Henry and hopefully A.J. Brown, who is back, is going to keep him in it. Bills winning 24-20.
I mean, you just can't go against Josh Allen right now, and there's too much uncertainty with Tennessee. Allen leads the Bills to a win 23-20.
Next game, we have the Rams versus the Washington football team. The Rams are favored by 8.5.
Yeah, this game, I think the Rams bounce back and win. They might not cover the spread because this defense is very good, but I like the Rams to win. Cooper Kupp, Jared Goff, they get back on track. They struggle a little bit against the Giants. It was a little surprising against that defense. So maybe the Redskins can definitely keep it within 8.5, especially at home. I like them to cover the spread, but I like the Rams to win 24-17. McVay, Goff, too much.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this one, but this is another game that I was kind of having a hard time with. I don't know. I feel like the Rams should have been a lot better, especially their offense last week. And that's kind of scaring me. I feel like the Rams should have a really good offense with the pieces they have. But I think they'll somewhat get back on track. At least I hope they do. I'm going to take the Rams 21-17.
Good. Okay. So next we got the 49ers versus the Dolphins. Again, this game, Jimmy Garoppolo is uncertain to play, so there is no line here, but we're going to pick the game as of right now, which could be he's playing, he's not. So give us your pick.
Yep. I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take them 28-20. I think whether Garoppolo plays or not, 49ers have the pieces in Kittle, who definitely got back on track last game, and their running attack is still looking fine no matter who's running the ball. So I'm going to take the 49ers 28-20.
Kyle Shanahan off a loss. I expect them to bounce back, and I think Jimmy G might play, so I'm going to go with the 49ers 31-20.
Next, we have the Patriots. Again, no spread on this one, of course, because of the uncertainty, especially with Cam Newton. So the Patriots are taking on the Broncos. Who do you have?
Patriots played really well last week off a short week. I mean, they're going to be off a short week this week, but they did play really well on Monday Night Football despite the quarterback play. Newton probably, I would guess, not playing. So it's going to be a very tight, low-scoring game. But you don't know if Drew Lock's playing. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. I'm going to trust the better coach, Bill Belichick, to win 20-14.
I agree with you. We're definitely on the same page this week. I'm going to have the Patriots 24-21. The only reason it's going to be close is because Cam Newton's not there, and it's a different team without him.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be changing because we got a surprising pick coming up. So Colts versus Browns. This game, Colts are favored by 2.5. Jesse, give us your pick.
I'm going to take the Colts in this one. I think it's going to be a wide awakening for the Browns, who were definitely rolling big last week, especially with their offense. I'm going to take the Colts 28-17. I think Colts, who have a very good defense right now, they're going to figure out the Browns. They're going to figure out the Browns early. And the Colts are really good at keeping the lead, especially running the ball with Jonathan Taylor. I think they get the lead early and hold the lead. Colts win 28-17.
Weakness of the Colts defense is the run defense. Cleveland should run the ball all day, even if Nick Chubb's not there. And the weakness of this Browns defense is the passing defense, but you're going up against Phillip Rivers. He looked very bad. He just didn't look good against the Bears, even though they won. That was a very interesting performance from the Colts offensive standpoint. I think it's a very close game, but Rivers throws a pick at the end. So the Browns win 27-21. Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland to go 4-1.
All right, it could happen. It could happen, and that would be a very big headline for the Browns being 4-1 at this point in the season. Next game, we have the Giants, your Giants, against the Cowboys. Cowboys have a spread of 10 and are favored by 10. Who do you have?
Look, I would love to just hope and the Giants. That was their chance last week. I'm done with Daniel Jones for right now. He'll look good against this terrible Cowboy defense, but best wide receiving core in the league versus one of the worst secondaries in the league. Cowboys roll 38-27.
Yeah, I have the Cowboys in this one too, and Cowboys offense is just going to be too much, and I think they're going to carry their own defense. Cowboys defense is not going to be able to do much, but luckily they're not going against a very threatening offense in the New York Giants, so I'm going to take the Cowboys 35-20.
Sunday Night Football, we got the Seahawks hosting the Vikings. The Seahawks are favored by 7, Jesse.
Yep, I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. I think they're going to stay undefeated. Russell Wilson is too much for that depleted Vikings defense that I feel like, especially me, I was high on the Vikings defense coming in, but clearly that is not the case. Hopefully they turn it on at some point this season, but I'm going to take the Seahawks 28-17.
I feel like every week I always think that the other team is going to cover the spread against Seattle. So I'm going to say that Seattle is going to cover the spread this week, and they're probably not. Look, last year, I remember this game was the Seahawks. It was Monday Night Football, and I liked the Vikings +5, but This team is just much different this year. The Vikings are struggling on defense a little bit more. Yes, you got Dalvin Cook, but no Stephon Diggs, which is big. I think the Seahawks roll. They put up over 30, and they win 35-24.
Last game of the week, Monday Night Football. Saints take on the Chargers. Saints are favored by 7.5.
Yeah, I think the Saints bounced back last week, and I think it's all about that run game. They're going to dominate the run game. No Derwin James, so the run defense for the Chargers not as good. They struggled last week against the Bucs. I like the Saints at home against a rookie quarterback. We'll see Dennis Allen put in some nice schemes, and they win 28-17.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints in this one too. I think they just cover 28-20. Hopefully Michael Thomas is back because, you look at guys like Aaron Rodgers, doesn't seem too affected by the receivers he's throwing to. I would argue that Drew Brees is the opposite. He needs Michael Thomas back, not for those big plays, but for those little plays, those little 8 to 10 yard slants. They need Michael Thomas back to turn into what everyone expected them to be. Saints 28-20.
Here we go. Thursday Night Football. Jesse's words was that it was going to be closer than most expect. Tom Brady on the road versus Big Dick Nick and the Chicago Bears. Jesse, give me your pick.
Yeah, I said it was going to be close. I'm not talking about like a last game-winning field goal. I think the Bucs are going to win. They're going to win 28-20 is what I have. The Bucs are too much for the Bears. The Bears are not the same defense that we knew and loved from a couple years ago. Tom Brady is going to do enough to get the win. He's going to look like the quarterback that he's always been. He's going to throw to his guys like Mike Evans. Hopefully Godwin's back. But you know where I stand with Tom Brady.
Well, we don't know where you stand because you said you didn't have any trust issues. And if you say the game's close, I'm expecting like the spread to be like you cover the 6-point spread, but you have the Bucs covering, so I don't think that's as close. So I don't know. I'm just pointing out some observations.
Possession game.
Okay, fine. Bucs roll. Brady, Evans, they're too much right now. Yes, Evans and Godwin are banged up, and O.J. Howard is out. I don't trust Nick Foles. Bucs win 27-17. All right, guys. Thank you. That was Week 5 edition of Big Thursday. Hopefully we can continue this because of the COVID protocols and all what's going on in the NFL. So we're just praying that the NFL weeks continue because it's been a lot of fun. Last week was a lot of fun. 2 Monday night games, which was very interesting with the Chiefs-Patriots. And then Packers-Falcons. So hopefully we keep this season rolling. Thank you guys for listening. Big Thursday, Week 5 edition.
This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.